the sunrise, another time.
Alright, thank you for joining Kuma Style Reviews here for a very special one. This is the first video of our Giant versus Hercules MakeToys versus TFC series. We're going Hercules, Yellow Giant, we're going at them. Round one here, it's going to be the alt modes. As you can see right now, I've got them all lined up. We're just going to go through them one by one. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we'll go ahead and start with the two in the middle, which are the dump trucks. We'll clear those out. We'll leave room for MakeToys dump truck and TFC's heavy labor. Alright, give me one moment. I just wanted to give you guys an image of them all together before we really get started here. Alright, and here we go. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and lower the camera now. Zoom in a bit. Alright, and now we can start having some fun. Basically, I'm just going to go ahead and go through, give a rundown of each one, and at the end, say which group I think are better. So we'll go ahead, space them out a little bit. First, we'll go ahead and give you guys a good look at them. So here's the front. I'll just turn them each to the side. Make sure they're both still in camera. Go ahead and go to the back here. Other side. And the front. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that they are both pretty much the same size. I mean, there's not too much difference to them. They're both about the same length. Putting them side by side. And then even facing, dump truck's only slightly higher. Or I mean, actually, it's heavy labor. The TFC bot, that's slightly higher than MakeToys dump truck here. So not too much difference between the two of them. Alright. Now that we've looked at those, because I mean, they're both pretty straightforward. So I mean, four wheels, roll, pretty much what you see is what you get with each of these. They're probably the two bots with the least features between the two of them. And alt mode. So let's go ahead and go for the shovel bots. Okay, on the TFC side, or not the shovel bots, the scoop bots, we've got Exgraver and MakeToys Excavator. Now what you saw with the two dump trucks is pretty opposite here. And believe it or not, even though it looks like one's farther back here on the camera, Excavator is actually the same distance from the camera as Exgraver. There's just a big size differential between the two of them. Now, just taking a quick look at each of them, turning them around, pretty much facing back to back there, so it's even more so. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and take a look at the functionality of the scoops. This one, pretty much two joints. It's all the way up, all the way down. Pretty straightforward. And Exgraver, on the other hand, it's actually piston driven with really strong tight ratcheting joints and more pistons up here for Exgraver as well. And in fact, 3 if you count the scoop itself. On the MakeToys side, the scoop itself doesn't even move. So the shovel, the functionality of that, definitely is sided towards the TFC Exgraver Bot. So going ahead and just rotate them around so you can see the rest of them. You'll see the giant hand hidden in there. And get them back to the front. Now one thing that I need to point out between the two, Excavator over here actually doesn't have wheels, which is a big knock for me. Personally, if I buy a toy vehicle, you want to be able to roll around, play with it, etc., etc. And it's almost like, why would you buy a statue of a car when you can buy a modular toy car that actually rolls around and stuff like that? I mean, it's 4 wheels. It's not much that's needed to make this thing, you know, work like a vehicle. But they didn't do that. So, big knock for me. And Exgraver, on the other hand, definitely does. It has 4 wheels that line up well, and it rolls around. Okay, so let's take these 2 off. Next, we'll go ahead and go with the crane box. Okay. Alright. And on the left over here, let's get the camera better in focus. Alright. On the left over here, we've got TFC's Dr. Crank in the green, and on the yellow, MakeToys Mobile Crane. So we'll go ahead and face to face. Okay, and there is quite a bit of size difference with these guys again. Okay, turn them around to the back side. Put them back to back. And on the front. Now, taking a look at the functionality of the cranes, they're both pretty straightforward. We'll look at mobile crane first. We'll actually move them out of the way. And just show the sheer length. I'll put that flat cover down, I'm sorry. Of that. And there we go. Bring in Dr. Crank. And you can see, I'll put him in back, he is a bit longer, but the biggest difference here is going to be the crane itself. So I mean, yeah, there's really no comparison. And even though I don't personally have it hooked up because I don't use it, you can actually take thread and thread it through so that the crane and things like that will lower, which is a really, really neat add-on. I'm not gonna lie, just the realism of that and stuff, it's pretty cool. It makes for a multi-dimensional toy rather than just roll around, you know, blow off all. This one also, on the cranes, it has the pistons on each side. Just drive that. Whereas the MakeToys mobile crane just kind of goes on a standard pivot. And there you have it. We'll go ahead and get them back on the right side, but Dr. Crank and mobile crane. And another thing is, even though it's fairly well hidden, I don't like Devastator or Giant's head right there. Just not the biggest fan. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Whereas I'll have to simply bring the crane off. Dr. Crank actually has Hercules' head very well hidden inside of the bot, and especially covered up when the crane's there. Alright. Now moving on, we'll go ahead and get the plows in. On the TFC side, we have Structor and MakeToys Wheel Loader. Very different aesthetics for a similar type vehicle. Probably the most different out of all of them, in my opinion. But give me one moment. I actually put the wrong bot out because I am extremely smart. And there we go. We actually got the shovel bots out now. I put bulldozer out instead of wheel loader, so that just messed me up. But correcting that, we're going to go ahead and go with bulldozer versus TFC's neckbreaker. Neckbreaker, bulldozer, boom. There we go. But another difference of aesthetic, basically the same thing. Let me go ahead and get these turned around so you can see the difference in sizes. Okay, there is quite a bit of a size difference between the two of them. Now I'll actually put them like this so you can better see the size differences between the two of them. And it's okay because they're different size bots, but at the same time they're just little things. Like you'll notice Neckbreaker, his shovel here can actually touch the ground, whereas Bulldozer, his shovel doesn't. And there's no pivot, there's no anything, it just kind of is what it is. You can bend it so it's all the way forward, but then it kind of takes away from that natural, laid-back shovel look. So that's one thing I don't like. And a lot like Exgraver, this one doesn't have wheels on the bottom either. So for me, that's another big knock. Whereas, of course, Neckbreaker definitely does. So we're going to have Neckbreaker go ahead and wheel him off. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and go with the two cement mixers. And I really don't know why, but personally, these are just my favorite two out of all of them, the alt mode. I just really like the look of cement mixers. Quick Mix as a kid. Probably one of my favorite Transformers toys growing up, and I had no idea why I loved that Target Master so much, but I just did. But anyways, going ahead. Turning them around. And I'm sorry if I forgot the names. Mad Blender on the TFC side, and Mixmaster on the MakeToys side. Okay. And here we go. Two very straightforward toys. Both of them have four wheels. They roll. I do like that because of the ball joint heel articulation for Giant itself. Mixmaster actually has the ability to turn the cab. It gives it a bit more realism. I do like that. Mad Blender does as well. So a pretty cool feature on both bots. Now one thing that I wanted to point out here is that Mixmaster comes with a little hitch on the back for the arm of Giant to roll on. Now it adds a little bit to the mode, but at the same time, honestly, I think they could have done a lot better with the integration of the Gestalt parts. It really screams parts former when you've literally got his forearm dragging behind the alt mode. I'm not a big fan of that at all. Okay, so that's a good look at the two cement mixers. Now we'll go on to the last one, the plow bots. Alright, on the TFC side, you've got Structor, and on the MakeToys side, or MakeToys, you've got Wheel Loader. Both of these look really cool to me, and there's a big difference in the aesthetic that they went with for each one. Neither of them are bad in my opinion, but as you can see, there's a huge size difference. And turning around, turning back around, and cool. Now little features, over here on Wheel Loader, his plow unfortunately does not touch the ground at all, and it's not a mistransformation. That's how it's meant to be, which is unfortunate because this is one of my favorite alt aesthetics for the MakeToys Bots. And this one, on the other hand, move this one over, it has the same pivot system for the shovel and stuff like that, and you have a full range of motion with it, which is really nice. Now let's go ahead and get them lined up again. I'm sitting here putting stuff on the wrong side, but they're not completely different colors. Alright, and I just wanted to go ahead and give one last group image of all of them. And there you have it. Now, as for who gets my personal vote, I'm going to have to give this round to TFC. Their alt modes are bigger, they're more functional, it's got the pivot features and stuff like that. They've got way better integration of Hercules' Gestalt mode parts than MakeToys does. Even little things like the head on Mobile Crane over there, the dragging behind the forearms on the wheel or Mixmaster and Wheel Loader. He has one of the trailer hitches too. It's just little things like that that I think they could have tried a little bit harder on. And as for the toys themselves, things like Exgraver and sorry, Exgraver and Bulldozer not even having wheels to roll on. I mean, come on. So for me, between size, between functionality, the Hercules Bots, they win the alt mode department by a long shot. Thank you guys for watching, and definitely I'm sure there will be people who think that the MakeToys Bots blow the TFC Bots away. I completely respect that. I just don't agree. Stay tuned for the next video, guys. We're going into bot mode.